Hello, Meg Miller, an Adult Services Librarian here at Pflugerville Public Library, bringing you another Crafty at Home Cafe. For this one, we are going to make macrame rainbow keychains. If you have seen our slide or our event, they're going to look a little something like this. Although, as with all of our crafts, you'll be able to kind of make your own spin on it. Maybe you won't even want to make a rainbow shape. Maybe you'll decide to make a different one. But for those first 40 folks who registered with us, you will be able to come and pick up our handy little material supply kit. For this one, it's quite a small kit, just a small bag. But what you'll get inside here are some fun things. So first, you are going to get about 2 feet of macrame cord. You are going to get about the same length of jewelry wire. This stuff is really nice. It's super thin and pliable, and is actually easily cut with just a regular pair of scissors. You're also going to get 3 different colors of embroidery floss. If you've got your own embroidery floss, you can always change these out for colors that you prefer. And then the last piece, because this is going to be a keychain, we are providing a little keychain finding along with a little ring, and this is actually like a keychain ring, so you won't need tools to close it. You'll be able to slide stuff on it. So if you've got all those supplies, we are ready to get crafting. Okay, so I have all of my pieces out, my macrame yarn here. I'm going to decide how long I want each of the layers of my rainbow to be. This one turned out to be pretty big. It would probably be less workable as a keychain, maybe more workable as a backpack tag or something along those lines. So for this rainbow, I definitely want to make it a little bit shorter. So because I'm working on a self-healing mat, I've actually got some dimensions here that I can use. I am going to make my first inner piece of the rainbow just 4 inches. I'm going to make my next piece of rainbow 1 inch longer at 5. So when I get over here with my rainbow, my little guy will come around, and then my last piece, I'm going to go up to 6. And so there will be my little rainbow. And when it's all put together, it all should stick together about the same. And I even have an extra piece of the yarn that I can use at a later point. So now I'm going to be ready to get my jewelry wire going. I'm just going to kind of straighten this out and make sure it's the length of my yarn, maybe just a smidge longer. And like I said, this yarn or this wire cuts so easily with just a regular pair of scissors. You could get a heavier gauge wire, something that would hold shape a little longer. So I've measured out to my second piece. I'm just going to cut the wire a little bit longer and lay that down. And my third and final piece. And we've provided the same amount of wire to the length of yarn that we provided. So this tail end piece here should be just about the length of this other piece. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to pick any color to start with. I think I'll start with this lighter green color. Just take off my little wrapping. I am not going to use all of this length of embroidery floss. It's going to be way more than I need. So I'm just going to find myself an end here and just kind of work from the get-go. Set the rest of it off there. And let's see. I think I want my blue to be on the inside and my pink to be on the outside. So my green is going to be my middle length of yarn here. I tested a few ways tying them together. It seemed like tying to the wire first helped when I went to connect the two to the macrame yarn. So I am just wrapping the floss around the wire twice, and then I'm gonna knot the floss. And I mean, I've got extra floss I can work with, so I can make myself a little bit longer of a tail to tie my knot to. That way I don't have to worry about the extra. All right, there's one little knot, and I'm gonna double knot him so hopefully he doesn't slide off the end of my wire, which definitely happened while I was working on the examples. So, and then like I have this little tail here. I could cut it down, I could leave it, I could just let it go into the yarn itself. All right, so I want to make sure, actually I'll push my knot down just a little bit, because I will end up using this tail end of wire to wrap around the yarn. I want to make sure that I have that there. So really, I just started wrapping from here. So I'm gonna have a separation between my wire and my yarn, but as I go along, they will stay together. And let's see if I can do this left-handed so it looks a little better in the camera. It's a little easier to see. So there we go. And I'm just gonna wrap around here, going back over the area that I just did so that it can hold it. I also don't want to pull my floss too tight. This is a pretty thin macrame yarn, so the tighter I pull my embroidery floss, the thinner the whole piece is going to ultimately be. So I want to make sure I'm wrapping, but not completely tightening all the way down. My yarn gets slipped over my wire. I'm just going to bring it right back over. It's a bit of a slow process because I want to make sure that I'm not leaving larger pieces of the yarn separated, that those are covered. So ultimately all we're going to see is that embroidery floss. And I think we will speed up the video at this point so that you can see the process without having to wait all the way through me wrapping. Okay, so I have gone all the way down my first piece of string and back up, and now I am just tying myself a knot here with my thread back the other way. It may have been too fast to see, but the wire may move some, so it may pull down in. It is very easy to move back up, so that's not really a concern. If your wire starts to move down, just go ahead and pull it back up. All right, I'm gonna trim off those little tails. You'll also see that I left about a ½ inch of the macrame yarn sticking out the edges. That'll be our rainbow ends there when we get there. And so I'm going to complete this process for my other two colors, and then I will be ready to put my rainbow keychain all the way together. Okay, so I have my 3 wrapped pieces. I'm ready to start putting my rainbow together. At this point, I am going to put on my little jump ring here onto my longest piece, because that's what I'm going to attach to the keychain. You can do this before you wrap it with the embroidery floss, but this should still have enough room to slide right on there. And I am actually going to need one other little piece of my wire here, about 2.5 inches of it, just by itself. That's what I'll use to put my 3 rainbow pieces together. The little wire tails I have on each of my pieces will be what I use to connect them together on the bottom end. So I'm just going to take my first little blue and make them into my rainbow shape, and bring my little green around to the top and make sure that I fit in there. I'm probably going to trim that little guy over there. These keychains will attach later. So this is still in the middle. I'll bring my little guy around here. Let's see. Oh, I think I might need a little bit more pink on this end down here, which is very easy to do. I'll just grab some of my pink embroidery floss here. And since I didn't come all the way down far enough, I'm just going to tie myself onto the tail end here. Again, I'm just going to double knot so that I know that stays. This tail I'm definitely going to trim pretty short because I don't need to go very far. Let's make sure I just have enough floss for this piece that I need to do. Alright, so I got a little tail of floss here. I'll hold that tail down. I'm going to come down a little farther. Check. So there's my guy there. Maybe a few more wraps. And I'll come back up. Make sure that other tail. Check them again. That guy over there, that guy there looks pretty good. So I'm just going to tie off my pink here. So I didn't have to remove all of the floss and rewrap it since I didn't make it all the way to the end. I just needed to add a little bit more floss. And tie off. And there. Alright. Trim them down. Trim them down. Okay. And there we are. Although, I'm going to make sure that little knot is on the inside. And the wire allows me to adjust as I need. There we go. I think that's my rainbows there. Okay, so I've got my other little piece of wire. It's so pliable, it's really nice because I can just use my fingers to work with this wire. So I'm just wrapping the wire through the jump ring on my longest piece here. So I've got that attached. I'm going to bring my next color in, lay it right on top. I'm going to wrap through and between the two colors. And just working the wire through, tightening on the green part, making sure that I'm checking that my two pieces are where I want them. And this is tight enough to hold my little guy here. My rainbow shape is a little bit off right now, but that I can definitely fix and adjust once I've got it. So now I've got my smallest end. Again, with the wire, I'm just going to come around the front, in between the green and the blue, and tighten that up by pushing it with my fingers. If you happen to have a pair of jewelry pliers or a pair of pliers, that might make it a little bit easier, especially for this tail piece. You want to push that in as much as you can so it doesn't snag on something or anything like that. Okay, so there's my little rainbow attached in the middle, but not attached on the corners. And looks like my pink part came over a little bit. That's all right. Easily removable back to where I want it. Okay, so there's my little rainbow, and now I'm gonna attach my ends. So each of my little ends has a wire in it. I'm just gonna bring that guy out, and working from the outside in, I'm going to wrap my wire around the middle here. Again, making sure that I tuck this little tail of the wire, the pointy part, in between and up. Got a few of my macrame yarn strings hiding up there in the top with it. All right, and I've got my green wire, and I'm gonna bring that around here to my blue yarn, wrap them around, and in the middle, there he is. There we are. All right, and again, my wire is very pliable, so I can keep kind of futzing with it so that my rainbow ends come out here. I've still got one wire, the middle wire, or the wire for my blue one here, and that I'm also going to send around the green in the middle. So this wire is coming from blue, around green, and into the pink, but all the way back around. And tuck it. So now each piece of my rainbow on this side is connected. I can still move this little guy around. There we go. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I'm going to use the wire for my pink, wrap it around the green guy, back around in between pink and green, and pull down. Actually, I'm going to fold it. So get in here in the middle of my yarn to find my little wire tail. There he is. I'm going to fold it right back upwards. Okay. And again, same. Oh, my blue tail on the side's not very long, so I think I'm going to need to it won't go all the way around the green and back again. So I'm just gonna fold it a little bit. And then this time with my green one from the center, I'm gonna go around the blue just to make sure he's a little bit more secure there. So I can bring him across in front of the blue. That's my wire right there. Tuck him in the middle. All right, and then now I will work the wires a little bit, making sure I've got them all tucked away. I've got my little fringe on my rainbow here. And for the final, let's see. Get these over a little bit. And our keychain just has a really handy little clip here that's just going to be able to clip right on this jump ring. And there we have a nice little macrame yarn rainbow keychain. A little bit smaller than this other guy here from our original example. And I've still got some wire and some yarn, so if I wanted to do something that was maybe a loop or a lasso, or I could turn it into a heart or some other shaped animal, I can do that and then use the keychain on it so that it could be something a little bit different. But for this example and this kind of starter crafts, we gave you the 3 different colors so you can make a tricolor rainbow. We hope you enjoyed this craft.